Welcome to another episode of Eat, Chit, and Dice, a fortnightly podcast about board games and sometimes food. I'm Jared, and with me, as always, is Kat.
What? Yeah, hi.
And also John D's here, too.
Yep, I'm a guest.
Yep, John D's our guest.
Surprise!
No, it's because John D's having surgery tomorrow.
Yes.
So we're doing a weird thing.
Trying something out.
Trying something. And you know what? If it screws up and doesn't record correctly, and then Kat and I have to re-record this episode later without John
That'd be
D.
real sad.
I'll tweet out, rest in peace, John D.
No.
1942 to 2019.
Okay.
What are we talking about, John D? Do you wanna explain this one?
So we were at Gencon last week, and we did lots of things and ate lots of food, and we're going to talk about some of the things that were surprises to us. And, yeah, that's pretty much what this episode's about.
Okay, and which one of you wrote I Know What You Did Last Week? Was that you, John D?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, well, John D, great. So this just says discussion topics not in any order, so let's just go for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I guess we should do the our top Gen Con picks. We kind of covered that last episode about what we were excited about, but Kat didn't have any input on that.
That's
so
right.
I guess we should start with her, and then Johnny and I can do a quick recap of not everything that we were excited about, because we want you to listen to that episode, but to let people know for sure whether or not I got the Dinosaur Island broken token thing, which, by the way, I did.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
You did.
Pretty sure that's the first thing you went and got.
It wasn't the first thing, but...
It was the first day. The first trip of the first day.
Yeah. But it wasn't the very first thing.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't the very
Okay.
first thing.
Well, anyway, Kat, what were you excited about? I mean, I know, but...
So a lot of the picks that I had were demos, which wasn't great for me because I couldn't buy any fun stuff. But one of the things that I was the most excited about and then I actually got to demo and loved was Aftermath by Plaid Hat Games.
Yeah.
It is I think it's called like a storybook game.
Uh-huh.
So the board is a book and you have different scenarios that you can play through, but your mice, after all the humans mysteriously disappeared, kind of apocalyptic setting.
So is it set in the same universe as Mice versus... oh, wow. What am I trying to say?
Mice and Mystics?
Mice and Mystics, not Mice versus anything.
I was told no
Okay.
by the guy that was demoing it. And I was told that while the pieces for Mice and Mystics are very similar to the pieces for Aftermath, that because they use different mechanics, the cards and actual characters are not
Okay.
switch-outable, which made me a little bit sad, but I'm sure we could figure out a way to make that happen
If we
house-rule-wise.
really wanted to.
Because Mice and Mystics is one of my absolute favorite games.
You know, I still haven't ever played Mice and Mystics.
Oh my gosh.
Well, John D...
Do
Yeah.
that.
Right? I
We
know that
have
needs to change.
2 copies. Jared, of course, has all the expansions.
Yeah.
And I just have the base. But side note, I played Mice and Mystics with my not gamer friends of work people, and they absolutely loved it. And we played it like every other Friday for like 6 months. It's a great game. So Aftermath is, I think, going to be just as good as Mice and Mystics with a different setting. You can keep your story for your character going. So they actually have boxes that you can put the cards that you've earned and your character and stats and stuff in it, put it away, bring it back out, use those same characters for different scenarios, which I thought was really cool if you want to make it like a legacy game, or you don't have to. You can pick up any scenario. So that was by far what I was the most excited about and really happy that I got to play. And then other demo-y things.
So would you say Aftermath is probably your like Gen Con 2019 pick of the year?
For sure. For sure, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Loved it.
Awesome.
I mean, it looked cool. I didn't play it. I stood
Yeah.
kind of near.
You did stay, well, yeah, you came in and out.
Yeah.
But the people that I played it with were not super gamey people, it seemed like. They were a little confused by it, but they picked it up pretty quick. So it makes me feel like, similar to Mice and Mystics, anybody could really pick it up and learn how to play it pretty easily. So.
And that was the one that had the square bases, the circle bases.
Yes.
So you could tell which enemy you were attacking.
Yes, which I thought was really cool. So the figures looked different, but they were the same statistics on the cards. But the bases had different shapes. So you could say, I'm attacking the circle one, and we would all know what you were talking about, versus like, oh, I'm going to attack that one that I can see. No, the one to the right, like issues.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a really neat mechanic of it.
It solves an issue that you have with Dungeons and Dragons and,
Yep.
and those types of games where you're like, oh, I attack the skeleton that's in front of me. There's 3 of them. Which one do you want? I don't know. Which
Right.
one did you hit before?
Right.
This way you can just go, I want to attack the triangle one because you attacked the triangle one. It's almost dead. Let's
Right.
team up on the triangle skeleton.
Yeah, and some
Although
of
they're
the
not skeletons, I guess.
right. Some of the stuff has like line of sight, which helps to see like which ones you actually have line of sight for, because you can line of sight to the base, which I thought was interesting. But yeah,
Okay, cool. And I know a lot of your other stuff was just other demos.
yeah, or stuff that I was excited about and then got there and saw it and went, I don't know that this is for me.
Okay.
What about you, Jared? What's your pick of the year?
Well, if you listen to our last episode, you maybe know that the Dinosaur Island. So
It's not a game.
it's not a game, but we spent several hours looking at what games were coming out, doing some research on what was going to debut at Gen Con. And honestly, a lot of it I was like, well, that was on Kickstarter last year. I didn't want it then. I don't want it now. I don't know.
Did that change at all? I mean, when you got to Gen Con, did that change at all? Did you find something that you decided, wow, this is really cool? And
Well, actually, Megacity Oceania was not on our radar at all. Like, I saw that it was coming out. Jordan Draper is one of the designers, and he does a lot of games that I'm familiar with. And honestly, I kind of just impulse bought it because we were in the Asmodee line, and I was like, oh, they only have, like, a few copies left. And I asked someone, like, hey, you only have a few copies left. Are you going to have more later in the week, or is this it? And they were like, oh, no, that's it. That's all we've got. So I bought it. And we actually played it last night, and it was
really fun.
it was great. It's like a city building dexterity game. Like, you draw tiles out of a bag to build these cities, and then once you've built them, you have to push them with your hand on the table to join them to the rest of the city. And if you knock anything over,
interesting.
We have pictures of it that we can post when this
we can
episode goes
post
out, so you
on
can see what
Twitter.
we're talking about.
Johnny, I think you would like it, but you'll have to wait until after your surgery to play it
Well, I mean, yeah.
because you'll be all messed up because they're cutting off your legs.
Yeah.
It's not what they're doing.
No.
I'll have to learn to walk all over again. I mean, it's going to be rough.
But yeah, I was not prepared to buy that game, and then we saw it being demoed. We saw it. Well, I did. Cat's making a face at me. I saw it being demoed. I saw it in the little glass case setup. I saw the box. I looked at it, and I was like, this seems cool. And then one of our friends, Troy, who's been involved with the show before, said that he had demoed it and loved it, and it seemed like exactly the kind of game that I would like. So I was like, okay, well, I'm in this line. I don't want to ever get back in this line. I guess I'll get it. And we got it, and yeah, it's great. A lot of fun.
Is that a cat at your house or at
Yes,
my house?
it's here.
Yeah, it's my kitty that really wants to come in and join us because I'm not usually also in the room while Jared records, so he's very confused why both of us are trapped away behind a door.
He's upset, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, he sounds. I
fine.
was like, is that my cat? Because
No,
I
it's
have the door
Yuki.
open.
I think
Okay.
it's Kyo, actually.
Is it Kyo? It might be Kyo. I don't know. I've got 2 sets of headphones on, so. Well, okay, so Johnny, you
Yeah.
spent most of the time not in the dealer's room, exploring
Yeah, but I still
the
have a Gen
underbelly.
Con pick. I still have
Oh,
a Gen
yes.
Con pick though.
Yes.
I mean, we already talked about it, so there's no point talking about it a lot. But I honestly think, like, to me, the runaway hit of Gen Con this year was Team 3
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
for me.
And super secret, we're going to have some super secret project about Team 3 coming soon.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yes,
'cause
Johnny
it's a
just
cool
has to
game.
recover first.
Yeah, give me a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool game, and I saw so many people buying it, and I know they ran out of it at the booth. So
Yeah, they didn't have very many copies.
Yeah, so I feel like it was definitely kind of the one of the runaway hits of Gen Con.
Yeah, I think it would be fair also to say that Asmodee had some a very successful release of Black Angel.
Yeah.
They sold out of that.
Smirk and Dagger also had a really good release of Shobu.
Yeah, Shobu. Yeah.
I got Shobu. I loved it.
It's really cool.
I played that. I really
Yeah,
liked
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean, I know there were some other companies had some very successful games, but I think that Black Angel might have been every single person that I talked to on the first 2 days that was in line at the Asmodee booth at Open was there to get Black Angel.
Yeah.
Which they ran out of very quickly. Like every single person was either there for a Game of Thrones something game. I don't know. I didn't ask further questions about that. Or for Black Angel. Good job, Asmodee. I ended up getting a copy of Black Angel.
Sure did.
So I assume it'll be something we'll all get to play at some point.
You will get to play it, yes. I don't know that we'll do anything with it for the podcast, but you will get to play it.
Cool.
And, maybe we'll talk about it on one of the episodes.
You never know.
Okay, John, you as I was trying to make a joke, you were in the seedy underbelly of Gen Con for most of the convention?
If that's what
Most
you
of
want
the
to
show
call
you
it.
spent?
If that's what you want to call it, yes. So I spent several hours a day from 7:30 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon in the First Exposure Playtest Hall, and it turned out to be extremely different than what I expected. The way that it's set up, like it's a pre-register thing. The designers have to pre-register. They pay I think it's like $300, and they get 4 2-hour slots.
Yeah, that's the number that I was
And
told as well.
badges.
Yes, and those badges.
And
for it.
and 2 badges. In my head, I was picturing these poor designers sitting there with nobody to play their games. That's what I pictured, because I was like, who goes to Gen Con and playtest games?
Yeah, that was not my experience when I walked into that room. It was packed.
Yeah, I was
busy.
completely blown away by this really cool thing that I didn't know that much about before, because every single session, every single 2-hour session was sold out for the whole weekend, and there were standbys in for every single session.
So I think I might have some insight into the psychology of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go to Gen Con, you are there most likely to get your hands on the latest games,
Okay.
the hottest, newest games. But for a small subset of people, that's not enough. They need to play these games before anyone else. They need to be able to say, oh, that game that you're in line for? Yeah, I played that 2 years ago. I was one of the playtesters. Now, I don't know that that's really what people are thinking, but, whatever.
I don't know. I like Gen Con because I get to find out about new games.
Yes.
So I was really interested in the playtest hall just because I get to find out about new games and see
Yeah.
what's out. Not necessarily to say, oh, I played that before
Yeah,
you.
not in a braggy
Right.
way.
Right, but just to be like, ooh, I'm now excited about this. Because it's really hard for me to look at a box and see if I'm going to like a game.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I was pleasantly surprised at, the tickets were free, so there were always, no-shows of people that got tickets, but
Right. Sure.
every single session, there were people in every single seat. So, if there were...
And that's great.
Yeah, if there were spots open, then we went out in the hallway and solicited people in and filled
Yes.
every single seat.
I saw you doing that to
Yeah.
badgering people to come demo a game. I guess not badgering, but
Letting people know it's
Just
there. I think a lot of
hollering.
people didn't know it
Yeah,
was
hey,
a
do you want
thing.
to play a game that isn't out yet and won't be out for a few years, and you can be one of the first people to play it and give your feedback
Yeah.
and have your feedback actually maybe shape the future of this game?
Right.
Right. And I didn't expect there to be role-playing games in there. And there were
Oh,
role-playing games
interesting.
in just about every session. And those were the ones that filled up first because there were less of them. It was cool though, because I've been to a convention called Metatopia that's all
Yes.
prototypes, and a huge subset of it is role-playing games because those have to be play tested too.
A lot, yeah.
So that was something that I thought was really cool. I only played in one of the play tests over the weekend because mostly I was filling seats.
Right.
But
Are you allowed to talk about that game?
he didn't say I couldn't, so
Okay.
it was called Avarice, and
Okay.
I ended up
So
playing
you're
it.
doing things to be greedy?
Yeah, it was a trick taking game, and so
Okay.
he had to have 4 players, and it was in the most difficult to fill time, which was Sunday at noon.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was probably the most.
Yeah, that's when people are going to Gen Con church.
Yes, and well, it's like family day.
But for real though, there is I said that as a joke, but there really is a mass service.
There is.
Yes.
At Gen
At
Con.
Gen-
There is, but it's also family
For the
day, and
people
it's the
that
last day
do
the
that.
show's open, and the noon slot was the hardest one to fill, and the only spot that we couldn't fill was one spot at the trick-taking game table, and with it being a trick-taking game, he had to have
Yeah.
4 players. So
Okay.
I sat down and played, and I like trick-taking games. So
Yes, you do.
It was a good one for me to be a part of, and it was a pretty decent game. We had feedback for him, but I honestly felt like this was a game that is 80% ready to be published, which
Okay.
is pretty far
So,
along.
Yeah. That's pretty close. I mean, I would say at 80% you can start maybe approaching some publishers and seeing what kind of feedback you get on that.
I think he's planning on self-publishing.
Okay.
But honestly, I think that trick-taking games is going to be the next really big thing with publishers, the way that I'm seeing things happen with publishers and what I know is coming up with some publishers. And I know...
I'm making a face, John.
I know.
You can't see it.
I knew you were, but I really think that once the roll and write craze dies down a little bit, I think trick-taking games is going to be the next big thing. So I think a lot of new players will get into trick-taking games, and those that already don't like them are probably going to be like, well...
Going to be able to save some money.
But yeah.
I don't know. And again, we talked about this during the firefighting episode when we were talking about trick-taking games. They're just not for me. I'm not a fan of them. I don't feel like I can control any of my own actions. It's just kind of like all reactionary to what other players have done. And I realize there is a lot of strategy in trick-taking games, but to me it just feels like I'm just on a boat in the ocean without an engine or any way to power it, and I'm just being tossed around.
That's fair. But in the First Exposure Playtest Hall, there were a lot of some of the most popular games. I don't know how they played because I didn't play them. But there was one that was competitive cow milking.
Okay.
And I'm interested.
I know, right? Like I said, I don't know anything about it, but I was intrigued just because it was competitive cow milking.
Well, I'm all about weird themes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Me too.
Another one, and Jared, I'm sure you'll make a face about this one. There was one about dogs marking their territory.
Yep, there's the face. I can confirm.
But that one was really popular because it was weird and funny.
For some people.
Yeah, the concept was you're a dog sitter and the dogs...
And you just love ruining other people's yards and not cleaning up after the dogs. Look, real talk, guys. If you can't be bothered, if you're too lazy to pick up your dog's crap off the sidewalk in front of my house...
It's not about dog
you
poop.
do not need to own a dog.
The game wasn't about dog poop. Dogs don't poop to mark their territory. It was about dogs peeing on things.
Again, John D., if you're too lazy... If you're
to
too lazy...
scrub your dog pee off of what they pee on.
Okay, so...
okay,
sure.
Well, I'm sure that's interesting for someone. I'm sure.
Yeah, there was a Stargate role-playing game.
Yes, you had mentioned something about that.
So, I don't know if this is something where they're going to later try to acquire the license or if it's just going to
that means it's never coming out.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if these people have already been working because I didn't get a chance to talk to them. So I don't know what the deal was with that. But it was also a very popular RPG that people wanted to play in. So
I mean, here's the thing. If they are trying to develop this game and then pitch it to MGM, that's the backwards way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. I think MGM would probably at this point need to see something.
Sure.
My hope is that they either already have talked with MGM or that it's a good enough game that it doesn't have to have the SG-1 or the Stargate license, and that if they don't get
it could just be some other alien transport device, and then everybody, winks. But when we buy it and play it at home, we change it's not a Stargate. It's a space fence.
I mean...
Yeah, it's whatever. But functionally, you swap out a verb and you have the Stargate RPG.
Yeah, but...
it's all the same Stargate weapons. It's a Zatnicatel, but they don't call it that. They call it the Quad Blaster. Okay, guys, come on.
Yeah, but overall, I think that the Playtest Hall was amazing. It runs until midnight every night, so I think it's something that I want to try to at least attend one session next year because it was really cool. So maybe as a group, we can go sign up to do a session for next year.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be cool. Okay, well, the next thing, and I know it says not in any order, but so far we're going in order, so let's just keep going in order.
Sure.
There was a lot of buzz about this in the days preceding Gen Con and during Gen Con.
Yes.
Funkoverse strategy board game.
Yep.
Using Funko Pops. Now, we very briefly, for 20 minutes, talked about this.
Well, talked about the licenses that they had.
Yes.
Yeah.
We played it. Kat and I played it.
Yes.
With someone.
I did. I played it as well.
Oh, you played it?
Yes.
When you played it, did the person that you were playing it with have some problems with the concept of board games insofar as maybe it was the first board game they've ever seen?
I don't think it was
I don't think
that
it was
bad.
that bad, no.
But
No.
she had definitely never played that kind of game.
So we demoed it. The person that was supposed to be teaching it didn't do the greatest job. I mean, I picked up on it because I've played a lot of games like this.
And he had 3 tables.
Yeah, to be fair to him, he was very busy. But the lady that was playing it with us didn't quite grasp all the concepts. And I kept having to like tell her, like, hey, that's not how this is supposed to work. That's not what the guy said. So he'd get
But
called over.
it was a really easy game.
It was.
It was.
But eventually I just gave up.
And we were playing on an easy scenario in a smaller room.
I just stopped calling her on everything and let her cheat. She was
Right.
like double moving, and it doesn't matter. At that point, I had learned what I needed to learn about the game, that I would enjoy it.
Right.
So we
bought some.
Yeah.
bought some.
I know you did
I
too.
felt like what I've been telling people about it when they ask me about it is that it was surprisingly not crappy.
It's very cross-master.
I didn't play a lot of Crossmaster, so I can't really make that comparison. I just
Okay.
I went in with really low expectations.
Yeah.
I was not expecting a game that I thought I would play. I was like, oh, I'm just playing this so I can buy the Golden Girls.
Right. Yeah, no.
And
But it seemed really good.
I left. Yeah, I left. I tried to buy 3 sets. Like, my friend Max was going to buy one of the 2 sets for me because the 2-person sets. And I was buying 2 of them because people were limited to
right.
1 4 set and 2 2 sets.
Yes.
Right.
Which is what we ended up getting.
Yeah.
I bought 2 2 sets and I wanted 3 of them, but they were out of that one for the day. So I didn't get it. But I am told that you can pre-order it with GameStop.
Yes, they will be available at GameStop stores.
And Target.
Hot
Hot
Topic.
Topic, Target.
Yeah.
Yes.
We very briefly talked to, I think it was the marketing manager.
Yes.
She didn't really identify what her role in the position or in the company was.
Yeah.
But I think it was the marketing manager because she had a bunch of marketing papers.
She was asking us kind of what we thought about the game. She asked if we would describe it as Catan, and we
No.
said
She
not at
was-
all.
she was
What
like,
are you talking
Would
about?
you say it's like a light
Person
strategy
who's
game?
Probably
like
never
Catan?
played a board game.
Yeah, I was like, no, I wouldn't say that at all.
No, we would say Crossmaster.
But she said that there would be retailer exclusive sets,
Yes.
which is not what I wanted to hear.
no, but
Me
it makes
either.
sense with Funko.
Yeah. I don't want to have to
We all
fight
knew
someone for
that
a.
Funko was going to do that.
Yeah.
because they do that.
Oh, this
Well-
Harry Potter set is only going to be available at box lunch, and you have to line up at 6 a.m. to get a copy. Oh, did you get one with a chase? Like
I will not
guys.
do that.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I
I
like the
won't either.
game, and I'm going to be purchasing the stuff that I did not get at Gen Con. My husband's excited about it now as
Oh,
well.
we're not getting the Batman stuff at all. It
No.
just didn't. Like,
See,
I
that's
like
what I
Batman
want.
as a concept, but it didn't.
The Batman stuff is what I wanted. I wanted...
We got the Harry Potter.
we got the Harry
sets.
Potter, we got the Golden Girls, and we got the Rick and
See,
Morty.
I don't like
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Like, I don't like Harry Potter
Oh, okay,
much.
yeah,
I don't dislike it, but it just doesn't excite
Yeah.
me. But my husband does, so we'll end up getting Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I think with the concept of the game, the Batman stuff seems silly, and I don't know
liked
that I
it.
can describe why.
I
But-
really wanted the Robin and Catwoman set
Oh,
and
yeah,
couldn't
okay.
get it. So I got the Batman and Joker set.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't. That was the big set. I got Golden Girls and Rick and Morty. And we all
Okay.
know I hate Rick and Morty, but
Yeah,
my
your
husband was
husband,
like,
yeah.
yes, he was like, please get that one.
Yeah, I also hate Rick
So-
and Morty, but I knew Jared would buy it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We have
So those are the 2 I have now, and we can play with those.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you can mix and match them, which
yeah.
there was a little bit of confusion about that.
Yeah.
One person at the Funko booth proper, like their booth in the exhibitor hall, led me to believe that you could not.
correct.
But-
you absolutely can.
But
you
yes,
can.
you can.
Yeah.
You absolutely can. But to be fair, they were just like a Funko salesperson. Like their
Right.
job was to sell stuff at the booth. It wasn't. They didn't know anything about the game.
The guy that demoed it for us like was really knowledgeable, and he was like, he told us that he had already tried to play it, like teaming up Batman with the Golden Girls. And
Oh yeah.
he said it was hilarious to have Batman use the cheesecake as a weapon.
And that's the thing that I didn't know ahead of time. All of the figures can hold items. Like they have holes in their hands, so you can hold the item. So if you want to give the cheesecake from Golden Girls to Batman, you can.
Totally.
You can just fit it right in there. Or like the Rick and Morty portal gun, give it to one of the Golden Girls. Sure, that's stupid, but you can.
But it's fun. Like
Yeah.
it's dumb fun. I liked the game. I wouldn't say it's going to be like my favoriteest game top 10,
right.
but I'm 100% I 100% see myself playing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of want to play it right
And-
now.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
I know, I do too now. I'm going to get this out and play. I want to try some of the other scenarios.
Yeah, because the one that
So-
we played the Harry Potter one. It was basically capture the flag.
Yes.
Yeah, we played Capture the Flag with Batman characters.
Okay. But yeah, at a certain point, I was just like, sure, you want to move through the wall? Whatever. I've already told you 3 times that you can't do
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
at this point, I know how to play the game. I want to buy the game and play it at home.
But I will also say there was 3 of us demoing it.
Yeah.
So I was Ron, this other woman was Harry Potter, and then Jared was both
I was Voldemort
and Malfoy.
Yeah.
So I like that you can do 3 players like that, and it didn't seem weirdly balanced. It didn't seem odd or wrong to do.
And
it was
he said
nice.
when you play 2-player, if you're playing with even just like one of the sets, that like there's a minion type character in each of the in the sets.
Draco had he could make snakes. Draco had a spell that he could cast snakes.
Well, and there's like a just rando type like character that you can put in on each team, so that 2 players can just play 1 figure each if you want.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So I thought that was interesting. I feel like there's a lot of potential with this game, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
could not get a straight answer, but I'm led to believe that there will not be Star Wars sets because of their licensing agreement with Asmodee and Hasbro.
Right.
I
But-
was also led to believe of that.
But again, this wasn't them saying absolutely not, we can't do that because of the license agreement. It was more of like, well, we'll have to see. But the way they said it led me to believe that no, it will not be happening. But contracts can change.
Yeah, I suspect for now that would be an iffy contract to negotiate
Yes.
because of
Yes.
Fantasy Flight.
Yes. But I would not be surprised if one does come out. I won't be angry that I was lied to. Like, oh, they resolved whatever contract issue they may have had. Cool, I can be Luke Skywalker and fight the Golden Girls.
I'm going to say right now, I'm going to look into my crystal ball and say that Stranger Things
Yeah.
will
I
be the
could
next
absolutely
one
see
that comes out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Halloween, I see it coming out.
It could be so
Yeah.
easy for them to do.
And they have the license.
They have the license already. I'm saying it now, Stranger Things.
Okay,
If
cool.
that happens,
Well-
I'll end up having to buy it just because my niece would be super into that. Like, she's obsessed with Stranger Things. I think it's an okay show. I like it. So I'd buy it so I could play with my niece.
Cool. Well, I haven't seen it at all, so I don't necessarily need to buy it. What is this now? What is this one?
The next one on
Yeah.
our list. So one of the things I found out that I actually didn't know you could do at Gen Con, which sounds silly, is
Play
that there's a
games.
library. Yeah, that you can play games. So you have to get a ticket for it. It's $2, and the ticket gives you 4 hours of playtime. But in Lucas Oil Stadium, like legit on the stadium floor,
Where the Colts
whatever,
play.
where the Colts play,
50-yard
you can sit
line.
there
You can go
and
to
play
the-
D&D.
You can go to the 50-yard line and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a second.
Which I think is really cool. I think it's a really cool way to kind of pass the time. If
It's
you
a
have
great
certain
way
events.
Peyton Manning is just.
Yeah, finish that thought.
I don't
sure.
have.
Okay.
I don't have a finish.
I was like,
So-
where are you going with this?
I don't know. But they have like, I think it was like 3,700 different game titles that you can play.
And that's a lot.
I was like, so they rival Jared's collection.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought that was a really cool way. I mean, if you're there with family, if you get tired of walking around, I wish I had known that I could pay $2 and sit down and play games
Yeah.
and rest my feet for 4 hours.
Just go get a generic ticket. and
Exactly. So I thought that
play
was
some
really
games.
cool. I heard a lot of people talking about it this year, and I feel like they've done it in many previous
Oh,
years,
sure,
but I've never
sure.
heard anybody talk about it. So I don't know what made this year different, but yeah, it was neat.
Well, maybe next year we'll do that, and then we can tell you firsthand about it.
This year was the first year in many, many, many years that I went into the event hall as well. And
We were briefly there.
I was in there several times to go visit because Upper Deck doesn't have their own room now. They're in the big event hall. So I went in there to say hi to my friends at Upper Deck. And I went in there for...
Simon, who is what is his official title?
He's the head judge for their
No, his official
tournaments.
title.
Oh, he's a High Druid.
High Druid, that's right. I guess we should explain that very briefly.
We already
haven't
have,
been-
but
Yes.
Yeah. Listen to a
He's an
previous
ordained
episode.
minister,
Do you
and
wanna
that's
find
his.
it's not It's not really his title. It's what
Right.
he
It's
threw
one of the
that
things you
out
can
there.
sign a
he,
marriage license
he
as.
threw that out there, and so we just landed on that, and I think he's stuck with
Yeah.
it forever now. But so the event hall is always insanely full, and
Yeah, there's stuff going 24/7.
Yeah.
Well, not 7, I guess, because it's not 7 days, but
like,
24/5.
until pretty late, and I was in there to visit them. I went in there to check out Keyforge.
Yeah.
which
Not a fan of that personally.
I actually liked it.
Cool.
So I went in there to check out Keyforge, and they had a vending machine for the Keyforge decks, and I was like, I want to buy cards from a vending machine.
Yes, they did.
So I did that, and
I kind of like when companies do kind of a weird, different way
Yeah.
to sell their games. Or
yeah, I thought it was the vending machine was neat. And
That
then
is a really cool
I was
idea.
in there for a couple of other events for various reasons, and I'd forgotten it's been like 6 or 7 years since I went into that hall, and it's really
wow.
cool. Like, I forgot that there's so many things going on at Gen Con
Yeah.
that aren't at a booth that I'm working. It's like, wow, did you know there are other booths at Gen Con? Wow.
they have 19,000 different events that you can go to at Gen Con.
And I knew they existed, but I hadn't gone in there and seen them going on like
Exactly.
firsthand. And
Yep.
it's kind of
There's
really
a giant
cool.
inflatable, like Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Pikachu that they suspend from the ceiling.
You can
Yep.
do fencing. You
Yeah.
can learn how to fence at Gen Con.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can do underwater basket weaving.
You can do
So cool.
cooking. There's cooking events, and there's
Yep.
craft events. There's
crafting
so
stuff, yeah.
much. Yeah. There's like so much you can do at Gen Con that people don't even think about that they would be able to go do. So, if you aren't exactly a gamer, but somebody in your family is, and they want to go to Gen Con, I'm guaranteed that there's probably some events that you would find fun, even if you're not into board games.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, while we're busy talking bad about some stuff, let's keep that trend up, shall we?
Sure. The BGG rebrand. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not like losing my mind over this. It's just something that I noticed.
Yeah.
Finally, I walked past the BGG booth like 2 or 3 times and did not notice it at all, which I think is a
Okay.
big deal, because usually it stands out and you're like, oh yeah, that's the BGG booth. I need to get promos. I didn't notice it because the rebrand is kind of, in my opinion, it kind of dulls their color scheme.
Yeah, it's interesting. So this has been a few years in the making,
Yeah.
and the pages for most of the board game entries has already switched over, but
Yes.
this is now complete, and
They have a new logo.
I can't say I love the new logo.
I
understand
not
what
good.
it's going for.
I get that
I
the
get
old
it, but
I get that the old logo wasn't great either, but it was very
Very kiddish.
recognizable. It was very
Yeah.
recognizable. The new logo I don't feel like has the same recognizability.
yeah.
It's just, to me, when I see it, I just see like a red blob.
I see generic mountain
Yeah.
or rock or something like that.
Yeah, like it's just not as memorable. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't change a darn thing for me. I'm still going to use BGG. I still really love that it
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
love what they do, and none of that's going to change. I just was
No.
not overly impressed with their rebrand. And
Yeah, there's 76 pages, nearly 2,000 comments on the BGG forum complaining, or maybe not complaining, but discussing it. So, I mean, it's a very interesting.
yeah, like a lot of people are like losing their mind over it, and I think some people are kind of going overreacting. And
Yeah.
in the long time, like I said, in the long run, yeah, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. I'm not overly impressed with it, and
It's fine. It's just it's a strange choice, and I'm sure that they did, a lot of work on this.
they
and
did,
I'm
and they
appreciative of it.
wanted the
it's-
new. I was told that they wanted the new logo to be more inclusive.
Yeah, so you could see yourself in the logo, is what I
Yes.
was told. It's a
Yes.
silhouette rather than a specific face. So
I
that
didn't-
silhouette could be you.
I didn't see a silhouette. I
No,
saw
I don't
a
get that.
blob.
Like, I know what it is. So the old BGG mascot, Ernie, whatever. That it's his face, but as a head-on, face-first silhouette, and it just kind of looks like a random fire.
Yeah, I saw.
It looks like the Good Mythical Morning old logo.
It does.
I saw a blocky blob. Like, I don't know. I could see that shape in an ink blot test.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to get too caught up on this.
No,
but
because
this is something that
it's not
happened.
worth like getting like super into. It was just something I
No.
kind of wanted to mention. It was a surprise to me. I didn't know. I knew they were making changes on the site, but I didn't know they were
Yeah.
going full on like change everything about. And I didn't know that, so it was a surprise to me.
Yeah, they had discussed it a few times, but the new logo I had not seen until at Gen Con. I was like, oh, okay, well,
Yep.
whatever. I mean, it's not my logo. It's like when Pepsi changed their logo. It didn't affect my life at all.
No, like you're either gonna. It's not something that's gonna change whether or not I'm gonna use the product,
Nope.
quote unquote.
Nope, not going to change anything.
Nope, not at all. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
And you know what else doesn't change anything?
What?
Marvel Champions, the card game. A new living card game from the publishers of all the other living card games. So it's a Marvel version of, like, let's see, the Lord of the Rings card game, or the Arkham Horror card game, the Star Wars card game, Netrunner, all those. There's a Marvel one now. A lot of people that demoed it said that it was more like Sentinels than any of the other games, Sentinels of the Multiverse. But it's a living card game, so the way those work is you, rather than buying randomized packs, you buy a single pack, and that's the same for everyone. So if you buy a pack and I buy a pack, they're going to be the same things. So that the games are expandable, like traditional board games, but they play more like collectible card games. This is not for me.
No, me neither.
This is not for me. I love Marvel. I love superheroes. But these kinds of card games are not for me.
Right. My first thought when I saw it was, uh-oh, watch out, Legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With it being a Marvel, like LCG style, I was like, Legendary's been basically cornering that whole Marvel card game market for a while.
Yes.
So,
yes. And Upper Deck does a
ouch.
good job. I personally am not a fan of Legendary. I don't have fun when I play it, but I know that it is fun for a lot of people. It's very popular, and they make a lot of money off of it. Well, maybe they don't make
Yeah.
a lot of money, but they generate a lot of sales.
Yeah, so ouch was my first thought.
Yeah.
I asked them what they thought, and they were like, well, we're going to check it out and see if we think it's competition and, deal with it,
Yep.
which is pretty much all you can do.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, with Marvel being owned by Disney, what are you going to do? Sue Disney?
Well, and I don't think they had obviously they didn't have an exclusive contract or
Right,
anything,
right.
so.
But I mean, yeah, if you go and say, "Hey, Disney, we don't like that you did this. It's competition for us." They will say, "Oh, okay, we can solve that problem for you. It's competition for you? Not anymore, because you don't make this product anymore."
Right.
I mean, you can't threaten Disney. Can't mess with the mouse.
Yeah, I was surprised when they did that.
A lot of
but,
people were surprised.
The living card game thing, it's hit or miss with me, and I'm not that into Marvel, so it's not really going to be scratching any itch for me, I don't think.
Well, a lot of people that demoed it said that it was very good. Our friend Troy demoed it, and he seemed to enjoy it, and a lot of our other friends also seem to enjoy it quite a bit. So we'll see. I'm sure that if he gets a copy of it, I'll play it, I'll try it, but I don't think that I will buy this. I don't think that I will ever own this game unless I play it and I'm like, whoa, this is the best card game I've ever played. I don't see it happening. So Kat is going to be more involved with some stuff that we're doing going forward.
I'm hoping so.
Hoping so. And maybe we have the first thing that she'll be doing. Should we talk about it a little bit? Hint to it?
Yeah, let's do it. So I really like role-playing games. I've been playing them for probably about 15 years, which certainly is not as long as other people. But my board game group in college switched over to Pathfinder right when it came out. So we're big Pathfinder people. Our group, John D and Jared included, have tried Starfinder. But Pathfinder has a second edition now, which is super exciting. It changes a couple little things here and there. I think it makes it a little bit more streamlined. It takes out some of the kind of fiddly bits with some role-playing games as much as possible. But I spoke with their public relations manager while we were at Gen Con, and we're hoping to maybe get a copy of second edition, maybe their starter box, and do some videos of it, potentially. so that y'all can see kind of what comes in that starter box, what second edition looks like, see if maybe it's for you. But more on that to come.
And they can actually see the ridiculousness that is Jared in a role-playing game?
Oh.
Trying to break a game.
To be fair, don't put a hover cart in front of a doorway if you don't want me to try to drive it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me there's a hover cart full of luggage and I say, are the keys in it? And you say, doesn't say they're not.
Exactly. That's
Jared is quite entertaining in role-playing games, so that's worth watching.
Yeah.
Don't tell him he can be a rodent type character and that he can't be the hamster from the Kia commercials.
Yeah. They're also doing a quote-unquote like soft reboot of the Pathfinder adventure card game. It's not a reboot, but it's also not a second edition.
Right.
I don't know. I was very confused by what he was trying to tell us.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that myself. I think he was just saying, hey, do you know we have a card game? Which, yes,
Is that
we
the
do.
board game, or is that
It
different
is
from
a
the board game?
board game, sort of. So it basically distills the essence of Pathfinder into a campaign-driven cardboard game.
Right.
I may have a copy of the base game of it. I have a Pathfinder game.
It's
I just
probably
never
that.
Opened it.
Yeah.
It probably is that.
Okay.
It's a good game.
It's fun.
It's fun.
I've never opened my copy,
It's
but I have it.
fun and a lot easier to kind of get your role play fix without doing a big long campaign.
Because you don't have to make the character. You just
Right.
pick one of the pre-mades, you take the deck of cards that's associated with it, and then you
Play
a
the
card game. But yeah, I'm interested in that. I'd like to see some more information about that, and hopefully we can get some more information about that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's like the end of the hype train. But as Kat was saying, there were a lot of games that were available to demo.
A lot.
And a lot of those games are upcoming Kickstarters.
They are.
So we don't have like Kickstarter links to these next few games, but they will be coming soon, and we will probably talk about them more when the time comes. So let's just rattle these off pretty quick.
Yeah. So the first one I was excited about that I didn't hear anything about before going to Gen Con, which surprises me, is called Arch Ravelry. It's by XYZ Game Labs. Their Kickstarter is coming September 2019. Basically, you are someone who's knitting, and you're competing to complete more projects that are worth more money than the other knitters. Each of the knitters has something they can do. Like there's someone that can dye their yarn different colors, so they don't really have to care about what colors of yarn they pick. But it's a like resource collection, collect supplies, craft your patterns. They have different cards where you can throw a cat at somebody who tears up their yarn. It looked really cute. They said that they are, the game will come with containers.
Yeah, Game Trays is doing
Game
the containers
Trays
for them.
is doing containers for them, that the game will come with those. So I thought that was really nice.
Cool. I love the theme. That theme
Yeah.
sounds
I love it.
And
so cool.
The gameplay reminded me a lot of Scoville.
It did.
It was very
Scoville-esque.
very Scoville, which
With
is
yarn.
a good
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Scoville. It falls into that whole like crafting category. I really think there a lot more could be done in that theme genre.
Yeah, there's a lot of quilting
because there was
games.
Yeah.
there's a few like Quilt Show comes
Yeah.
to mind.
Patchwork.
Yeah, so I am intrigued by this, and the name makes me
Yeah.
giggle. I like that name.
It was really cool. They didn't have a full game like to play. It was more of like just here's the components, prototype components. Let me walk you through this scripted presentation. But it seemed really cool, and I'm pretty excited for it myself.
I am now.
Yeah. Seemed fun. Another
as
one.
excited as
I
that.
know. Another one that Inside Scoop, I also post to Facebook sometimes under Eat Chit and Dice. I posted about called Tentacle Town by Monster Fight Club. This is another Kickstarter coming. They said in August, but it may end up being September. So basically, you are fighting off tentacles that are attacking your island while gathering community members kind of to your side. You're trying to build prestige, basically.
Trying to become the mayor.
But the tentacles are rubber and they have holes so you can have tentacle fingers, which pretty much sold me on the game. But it was really pretty. It was
Yeah, the art is
The
very
art
interesting.
was really interesting. It's cartoony, obviously, because it's some tentacles.
I would say it's like cell shaded kind
Yeah.
of like playing Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Yes.
And everything is the colors pop because they have thick outlines and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's a really pretty game to look at. Obviously, there's a bunch of tentacles sticking up on the board, so it's very eye-catching. But yeah, it looked really fun.
And what I think is interesting is the company that's publishing it, they make terrain for role-playing games.
Yeah.
And that's what they
They do
do.
scenery.
And so now they're making a game. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. A little
Very cool.
unusual, but yeah. Okay.
That's a fan. Let's see, the next on our list. I don't know, Jared, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, actually,
Because
so
you played it with me?
yes, I found out about this on Twitter, I don't know, 6 months ago. There were some prototypes that they'd posted, and I was like, oh my god, this game looks like everything that I would love. It's called Calico. It's a puzzle tile placement
Quilt
set
game.
collection quilt game. So you are trying to make the coziest quilt. You have to collect patches. There's a drafting mechanic. Where you place them matters because you can the set collection aspect is colors and patterns based on what they're touching. So if you want to attract a cat, it likes a specific fabric, sure, whatever. To put these buttons on, you have to get colors in a row. It's not as simple as it sounds.
No.
It is very thinky, and I loved everything about that.
Me too.
So it's Calico from Flat Out Games. They should be Kickstarter should be soon.
Yeah. I
be
was
very
told
soon.
August or September for that one as well.
And of course, we'll post about that
Yes.
more.
100%.
I want to play it again.
Yes, right now.
I want to play it again right now.
Me too.
And then Jondi actually was more excited about this next one, Iron Forest from Brain Games.
I hadn't heard of it, so
It's like a follow-up to
Yeah.
Ice Cool.
I'm excited.
My first thought when I saw it was, oh my god, Jared needs this. Because of your love for dexterity games.
I do like
It
dexterity
uses-
games.
It still uses that idea of all the different boxes being the game, like Ice Cool does. Only it's got these different levels, like, so there's an upper level and a lower level that you're flicking things in, and I don't know a lot about the game yet, but it looks really cool, and I am pretty confident that Jared's going to end up with a
Yeah,
copy.
so the game is played over a set of scenarios to make a campaign, and you control like they're mechs, but they're also kind of like Weebles, if you guys remember Weebles.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Yeah, that's right. So they're mech miniatures, but they're balls. It's very similar to the penguins in Ice Cool.
Yes.
So there's 2 levels of the game board. Like there's a top and a bottom. Like you have to, whatever. And then like Johnny was saying, it uses the box in box system that Ice Cool has, where it's just a bunch of boxes that you unbox, and that's the game.
Yeah.
The artwork looks amazing, and the presentation on the table was pretty cool. They had a pretty consistent crowd the whole time.
They did. Well,
Yeah.
Team 3. And then the other 2 games of theirs that they had there looked like they were also quite popular. Like that one was a penguin game and one was like a snow, like a stacking, maybe it was a stacking game. Every time I went by the booth, there were people playing all of their demos. So
Yeah, they have Snowman Dice, which is one of their new games where you roll dice to make a snowman, and you have to like stack the dice, but also other players can roll the dice to get snowballs and flick the snowball cubes to knock over the snowman.
yeah, it looked cute.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get a copy of that at some point.
Yeah,
it was
they've
cute.
got quite a few things going on, and I love it. I'm really excited for these new games that they've got coming out.
Yeah, Brain Games is kind of on fire.
Yeah. They kind of came out of nowhere. They're from Latvia, so, the games might be more well-known in Europe. But, like, outside of Ice Cool, most people don't know any of their other games. So hopefully that'll change.
Yeah, well, I think that I could see that changing because they were kind of on fire. at Gen Con.
Yeah. So sometimes food. We talk about sometimes food.
Sometimes food.
I want to complain about something real quick.
Ugh.
It's not a complaint. It's not a complaint. It's a comment. So Hotbox Pizza has a pizza contract with Gen Con to be the official pizza of Gen Con. And this year's pizza was Tater Quest. Ranch sauce, red onions, bacon bits, tater tots. It was only okay.
It sounds really good to me.
It would have been better had it been warm and had the ranch sauce been tasteable.
Yeah.
I don't know the word for that.
Yeah,
Had
it
ranch
just-
sauce on it.
It just tasted like cheese pizza to me with
It
tater
did.
tots on it. And the tater tots were not seasoned at all. It was just a cheese pizza with potatoes.
So was disappointment.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. We could have walked to the actual Hotbox restaurant itself and probably got a fresh one. It probably would have been a lot better. But
Yeah.
the one that we got at the food trucks was not... It wasn't gross. It
No,
wasn't bad. I
it was
didn't hate it.
good,
but I was
but not
like,
great.
well, that wasn't what I wanted it to be. But I
Right.
have food, so whatever.
Oh, that's a bummer though, because food is kind of a big thing for me at Gen Con. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it's like, hey, I'm at this show, and there's all these
Right.
there's all this food that I can eat that I can't eat when I'm at home. So
Yeah, like Joella's Chicken.
From Louisville, Kentucky,
They
there for some
drove-
reason.
The guy joked and said, "Oh, we followed you up," and I was like, "Okay, well, you didn't, but okay, you kind of did."
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that
was a
more and
surprise.
more food trucks are kind of jumping on that go to Gen Con bandwagon because
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
I mean, it's
wouldn't
like a
you?
2-hour drive.
Well, it's
Exactly.
and they can make a bunch of money.
well for them. Like I think more and more like from all over the place are because that they're all pretty much guaranteed to do well. Parked in one spot for 4 days.
Captive audience.
right.
Yeah. So I admittedly still haven't spent very much time in the food truck area because I generally want to go somewhere where I can sit down and somebody's going to bring me a food.
Oh, sure.
But I'm always amazed at the amount of variety that is offered there.
Yes.
And maybe one of these years I will partake more in it.
Yeah, there's a pierogi truck.
Yeah.
There's a Korean barbecue truck.
Yeah.
There's a cupcake truck.
Oh, the cupcake truck was cool.
Yeah, here's your segue.
So, Flying Cupcakes that are located in one of the little suburbs of Indianapolis, I believe. They had a truck, and they themed all of their cupcakes to, things that Gen Con people would be into. Although, apparently, looking at their Facebook page, they do lots of themed cupcakes.
Yeah.
They're from Greenwood.
I think that's part of their thing is themed different cupcakes.
Yeah, so they had, like a zombie one is the one that I tasted. A friend of mine had the zombie one, so I got to try that. And it was really good. It was, like 3 bites was plenty for me because they're very, very, very rich. But everybody I knew was talking about the Mike Pence cupcake because it was rainbow.
And rainbow sprinkles and rainbow icing.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you're not from Indiana, Mike Pence was the governor, and he famously tried to pass some very unfriendly laws.
Well, he did
Well,
pass.
he passed them, but
He
then they were
did pass
immediately
some
repealed.
laws.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, to avoid getting into politics.
Yeah, I don't want to get
Yeah.
too much into it. If you're interested, you can Google it.
Yeah, I think everybody that, like, on both sides of the aisle that I talked to all got a giggle out of that, though, because it was funny. And I'm told that their cupcakes, all the flavors, were delicious.
Yeah, I had a cookie dough cupcake that had like a dragon egg on top. I could have done without. But it was actually tasted like chocolate chip cookie dough that you hadn't cooked yet. I mean, obviously it was cooked.
Yum.
But it was really interesting. It was good. It was sweet. Absolutely super, super sweet. But really good.
Yeah, and they were all very pretty.
Yes.
So yeah. So if you live or are visiting the Indianapolis area and you want a really good cupcake, check out Flying Cupcakes in Greenwood,
Yeah.
or try them at Gen Con next year.
Yeah.
I know you all are Weber Grill fans. I didn't get to go this year because I came up later. But that's always a staple too.
I went twice this year, and I didn't have steak either time. So I did discover
Did they give you floss with your check?
their meatloaf and their brisket, I have now learned, are both really good.
Ooh.
I mean, I just get a steak because it's a steak restaurant, but like, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Yeah,
don't
I
want
didn't
steak,
wanna-
Max got a meatloaf, and he said it was good.
Yeah, I tried the meatloaf the second time I went, and it was very, very good. So if you go to Weber Grill and you don't want to spend the money on a steak, there are other options that are just as good.
Well, there you go.
I got my annual Ram peanut butter burger.
Peanut butter, jalapeno, some kind of spicy mayo. I don't
Yeah.
remember what all's on it.
I always get it without the jalapeno because I don't like spicy things. But I love the burger, and we all ended up going. We went to a party for a Gwar game.
Yeah, we
yeah,
saw
I heard
that.
about that.
So for people listening that aren't familiar with Gwar, they're kind of a hardcore metal band that wears like these crazy over-the-top monster costumes. They've been around since, I want to say, the 80s. There was a board game that came out for them, and I got invited to a Gwar party, which I was actually relieved to find out they weren't actually playing at the party, because I wasn't... While it would have been an experience that I never had before, I also knew that they would have been really loud and
Yeah.
But the party was still quite loud, so all of us old people were there for like maybe an hour, and so we were like, hey, let's go somewhere where we can actually talk and hear ourselves think. And so it was 11 o'clock at night, and we went and ate dinner at the Ram because most of us had not had a food all day.
Oh, gosh.
And we walked right in, no line, sat right down, had a group of like 8 people, and it was no problem.
Awesome.
So I'm going to, from now on, just eat dinner at 11 o'clock at night if I want to go to the Ram.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
That was, basically, I tried a new place this year called Granite City Grill, and it's right there by or in the Circle Center Mall.
Okay.
And it was really good. There were a few problems, but I think it was just like they weren't ready for the crowds or something. There'd been like some management changes, but overall the food was really good, and I'm definitely going to go back another year.
Good.
They go into the whole Gencon theme like 100%. They change their menu names and their drink names, and
I like that.
me too. I think it's fun when they do that. It really shows how much they're like embracing Gen Con and the people that come. It makes you feel very welcomed.
Yes. There was a burger place that I thought was new because I don't remember it, but I could be completely wrong. I believe it was called the Burger Joint, something like that. But they had a Stranger Things burger that had Eggo waffles for buns.
Oh, that's amazing.
And had peanut butter on it also.
Okay.
I didn't have it, but I heard good things about it. I heard a lot of people saying that it was really good.
I would have tried it.
So I think maybe next year, I'll see if that burger place is still around. It seemed like people were getting in and out really fast too.
Oh, that's always a plus.
Yeah.
Especially since a big disappointment for many of us that are out late at night at Gen Con, Steak and Shake in Indianapolis downtown is no longer open 24 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't care at all. Zero
You
care.
don't, Jared, but
No. I'm sure some people
It was
do.
a place
Yes.
that a lot of
people
people
would have gone.
ended up at late at night, at the very least for milkshakes.
right.
And we're disappointed that they could not go there after having partaken in their alcohol drinking.
Okay, well, I guess we should finish up here with a couple of Kickstarters. One of these, if you want this and you're listening the day this comes out, act fast. Actually, both of them, but one of them, go right now. Just don't even listen to the rest of this episode. Just stop right now and go pledge. Okay, are you back?
On the thing that we haven't on the thing that we
Right.
haven't
How
named
how
yet.
would they do that?
Gamelin Games makes a lot of very small games. Some would call
You
them.
might call them tiny and epic.
Someone would call them tiny and epic. They are also now redoing some of their games as ultra tiny games. So first they did Kingdoms as ultra tiny kingdoms. Now they're doing Galaxies, ultra tiny epic Galaxies, the universe in your pocket. It's pretty much the same game with some typos fixed. It's like a second edition, but also
Yeah.
20% size.
And that I think they're adding a couple. There's going to be an expansion in there.
Yeah, the expansion's coming in it. The satellites and super weapons expansion is coming in
Yeah.
it.
Like right now, Galaxies is the only tiny epic game I've played, which I plan on changing
Okay.
that.
Yes.
But I really
yes,
liked it.
I think you'd like mechs.
So yes, I've been told that. I really liked the Galaxies one that I played, and I love tiny things. So when I saw the ultra tiny epic Galaxies, I was like, oh, I want this.
Yeah, this is a whole full-size game that comes in a standard deck-sized tuck box.
It's adorable.
We'll have a link to that. Check it out. It has, from the time that this recording goes up, just a couple days left, so go fast.
Yes.
If you are a longtime listener, you also know that John D and I, we'll pretty much buy any Red Raven game.
Yep. I even bought a Red Raven Games shirt this year.
I wanted one. I didn't buy it, but I wanted one.
They were only $15, and I'm a huge fan, and I felt like I needed to have a Red Raven Games shirt.
Well, I wanted a Sleeping Gods shirt.
Yeah,
and
Sleeping
they
Gods,
had those as well.
new game. On Kickstarter right now.
Yes.
Wandering Sea, the gods have brought you here, and you must wake them if you wish to return home. In Sleeping Gods and its expansion, Tides of Ruin, you and up to 3 friends become Who cares of the story? I mean, the story is... when you buy the game, you can read the story. But essentially, it's one of those storybook games that he does. But this one, you are sailing an ocean and finding different islands, and every single page of the book is a different part of the planet that you have sailed to, like Waterworld style. It's a steamship game, the Manticore. You have to survive, explore mysterious islands, meet new characters, and find totems to the gods to return home. This is a 20-hour-long campaign game.
Yeah, just go back it because it's Red Raven Games and all of their stuff is awesome.
And man, it looked pretty.
Yeah.
It's beautiful and
so
their components are always great.
Yes. And we were told that things that you do in this game matter. Like if a village is in trouble and you choose not to help it, later in the campaign, you might come across that village and be like, oh, the village is gone because we didn't help this villager and now they hate us.
Right.
Uh-oh.
We were also told that you can open it to any page and start your campaign there.
Yep.
So you don't have to start from page 1.
Because you entered the world through a strange portal or something behind Burger King.
So it can literally be different every single time.
So many of you might know that I, at this point, have not been able to get convinced to jump on the campaign game bandwagon.
Yep. You're wrong, though, because...
so
now,
good.
I understand your hesitancy to buy a full-priced game to destroy it, which a lot of the legacy games are.
It's not just that for me. It's the long commitment for me.
Right.
Because there's too many games out there I want to play, and I don't want to make a commitment for something like that. But this is definitely a mind changer for me. I definitely am open because it's a Ryan Lockett Red Raven Games game.
Well, we will have links to both of those. All right. Well, Johnny, do you have any final thoughts about Gen Con and your upcoming surgery?
I do not.
You don't have to talk about your surgery. If I
do not.
Keep bringing it up as a joke, but you're not getting your legs cut off.
No, I'm not getting my legs cut off. No. I really don't, other than I get that not everybody that's listening gets to go to Gen Con. And I think part of the reason that we did the preview and our little our episode today is so that even if you didn't get to go, you get a little piece of Gen Con. And for some people, I know you don't have any desire to go to Gen Con. It's overwhelming. It's huge. That's our way of sharing what we love about Gen Con with you. Hope you like it.
Yeah, and you can still play some of these games just months later after they finally hit your local stores.
Maybe watch some videos that maybe we'll finally start doing.
Yes.
All right, Kat, what do you got final thoughts? Anything you want to plug?
Not really final thoughts, anything I want to plug.
Great.
I do want to say, kind of jumping along with John D, that this is only my 3rd time going to Gen Con, and I absolutely love it. And I was very scared the first time because I was told how big it was and how much there was to do, and I'm not a super big crowd person. But everyone was really nice, and everyone really wants to talk to you about their games, so you never feel like you're kind of bothering them.
Well, sometimes.
I loved it.
Sometimes you walk up to a booth and you're looking at a game and they...
keep talking to themselves, and then
and then you walk away.
I walk away because I don't think that's how you sell a game. But I would say that's, I don't know, 5%
that was one
of my
booth
experience. Ever. Yeah, one booth out of like 500. So I do. If you can go to Gen Con, I recommend it. And look out for more videos from Each and Dice, because I would like to do more videos.
And she's our executive producer, so what she says goes.
That's true.
Haha.
That's true. Okay, well, I guess that'll do it. That'll do it for us. Do you want to do the outro, Kat? You've never done it.
No.
Okay, you don't have to.
All right, well, until next time.
Until next time, Kat.
You can eat shit and dice.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Eat Chit and Dice is an independent production of Swin Media and is distributed under a Creative Commons license, Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share Alike 4.0 International.